I mean, you perhaps are thinking, how does bro have a mustache and a wig in his YouTuber scoring studio? To that I respond, I just do. 100% Mike Israetel doesn't even begin to compare to Mike Mentzer, either physically or intellectually. Mike beat Arnold at the 1980 Olympia, but he got robbed. Dr. Mike can't win a novice show. That's the difference. Dorian is wearing a shirt with a picture of himself. Turking legend. And so this is the guy that's saying that Mike Israetel is wrong. It's Dorian Yates. He's a legend, a living legend, 6-time Olympia champion, and he's saying, don't listen to Mike. Finally, somebody said it. Bigger than Mike Mentzer. What he meant was, I'm fatter than Mike Mentzer, and there is, in fact, a difference. Coach Greg, and in today's video, let's just get right to the point. Dorian Yates is calling out Mike Israetel, saying he's a big bag of shit. There. End video. Isn't there a guy that says that? End video. And so enough is enough. The Twin Towers have fallen. Mike Israetel, Jeff Nippod, the walls have been trashing down. Essentially, what these guys have been saying for years is that you shouldn't be training to failure. That you need to have some reps in reserve.
Training to failure.
Bodybuilders tend to overemphasize how important going to failure is. Hard enough to maximize the muscle stimulus, but not so hard that you create too much fatigue. This is basically how I've trained for the last 10 years.
Hence, RIR, minimal recoverable volume, and all kinds of nonsense. And that this is based on science because, you know, we're science-based lifters. And so Dorian, who was friends with Mike Mentzer, was sick and tired of seeing Mike Israetel go on his podcast videos and telling the world that they shouldn't train hard, that he's bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer. And so he posts the video, it's getting millions of views, everyone's talking about it. And so let's watch exactly what Dorian's been saying.
Okay, I guess I'm Mike's friend. He's not here, so Dr. Mike, first of all, I hope that you're being like tongue-in-cheek.
And so, no, unfortunately, he's not just telling jokes. It wasn't in a joking situation. He's dead serious. He thinks he's bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer. Now, what he is fatter and dumber. I mean, it's debatable. Did he at his fattest in his off-season? Yes. Mike was once 270 pounds during his Dreamer Bulker days, of which he said he was at 30% body fat. It was closer to 40. Remember that video where I said, look away? Look away. And so we're going to show Mike when he was bigger than Mike Mentzer. Now remember, it's your warning. Look away.
Mebstagram, an eye surgeon, and she's with me. I'm ensuring that this does not get demonetized. And so how long can you look at Mike Israetel when he was at 270 pounds? That photo. How long can you look at him before suffering permanent damage to the ocular artery veins, parts of the eyes? Name a part of the eye that they have to be careful of. The macula. And so how long can you look at this photo before suffering macular damage, degeneration of the macular arteries and veins? 0.5, max 0.25. And so glance at it and look away. Be careful. It's analogous to an eclipse. How long can you look at an eclipse before you get like some problems? It's like, it's similar.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you've been warned. And so we're going to show a photo of Mike Israetel when he was bigger than Mike Mentzer.
Makes me shit my pants. Thank you, Greg.
We've seen him bigger than Mike Mentzer. Now, let us demonstrate that Mike Israetel has clearly lost his mind. We were at dinner with Chad, his wife, good friends of ours, and remember, she was the one that read Mike's PhD thesis. She'd warned me about it months ago, and I chose not to do a video on it, but then Solomon did a video, and the rest is history. And so Chad, he had a coworker. Can I talk about this? Like, is it too sensitive? And so we were talking about someone that they knew that had a psychotic break, that they had essentially lost their mind. They were dressed as a pirate and talking like a pirate. It wasn't good. Let's leave it at that. Mike Israetel has clearly lost his mind because he thinks he's stronger than Mike Mentzer. Let us demonstrate the fitness test that Mike Israetel endured, which proves how weak he actually is. And so Mike Israetel bench pressing his body weight of 240 pounds, and let's see how many reps he gets.
Two. Here we go.
And so Exhibit A, does that look like a guy who's stronger than Mike Mentzer? Now, as far as their physiques go, Mike Israetel is an amateur. I believe he placed in 6th position, and he did in fact blame it on his improper tan. They under-tanned the living shit out of him, and he was unable to make the top 5. These are his words, not mine. Sort of hilariously, she adds, under-tanned the living shit out of him. Who's the video that we watch that you all need to watch? 32-minute video, I believe. Anarchist, internet anarchy. Maybe they can put a title of the show, the video. Editors can show that stuff. Had like 500,000 views in a day, and he shows that it's the gratifying downfall of Mike Israetel, something to those extents. And so
it's a beautiful movie, really.
I mean, we laughed. I highlighted in there for about 10 minutes of it. You got to go watch the video. I mean, the Manlet Wars will go down in history. I'm certain that when we're grandparents and our children will be asking about the Manlet Wars, what went down when the Twin Towers came tumbling down, and how Coach Greg again rises to the top after being down in the ashes. It's just what I do. Mike Israetel has lost his mind. He's not bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer, although he brags about having his IQ above 160. I mean, how could he possibly have a sound mind and be able to say such statements? Look at Mike Mentzer and look at Mike Israetel. I mean, it's not even close, even with the surgeries, even with the loss of the 20 pounds of body water. It isn't close, regardless of the tan. There's no comparison. And so if you can literally look at your body and think you're better than Mike Mentzer, you are absolutely delusional. He perhaps has had a psychotic break. I mean, how is it possible? I mean, if I stood here and said with a straight face, you know what? I'm bigger and stronger than Chris Bumstead. You'd say, Greg, but you're a 5'6" manlet. He's 6'1". He's won 6 Olympia titles. And that's the exact number of titles that Dorian Yates has won. And so when Dorian Yates says something, it has a certain amount of credibility that's, let's just say, 100-fold more than Mr. Mike.
I fear either for your eyesight or your mental health, because obviously your physique's nowhere near Mike Mentzer, even with all the PEDs that you're taking, that you estimate will take 10 years off your life. Well, maybe you need to ask yourself whether it's worth it, mate, because a bag of shit that gets bigger is just a bigger bag of shit. Still a bag of shit. You know what I mean, mate?
I mean, the way he looks at the camera and gives the thumb up and the smile at the end, a big bag of shit that gets bigger is just a bigger bag of shit.
Enrique! You know what I mean, Mike?
I mean, this is from Dorian Yates. Remember, how do you think Dorian Yates felt when Mike Israetel critiqued Dorian Yates' training? Now, and so in case you've never heard of Dorian Yates, you don't know how he trained. He trained with brutal intensity. He went harder than last time, every time. This is how he trained. He didn't train with 3 reps in reserve. He didn't average 2 reps from failure. And he certainly wouldn't have convinced other people that they should go easy in the gym. This is what Mike Israetel has been doing for years. Convincing people who are younger than him, perhaps impressionable, like a young Jeff Nippot, who listened to Mike Israetel, a man with a PhD. Remember, Jeff Nippot is a dropout dentista. He doesn't have a PhD. What's the rap from Mr. Mike? And so Jeff Nippot, a dropout dentista, is a Mr. Mike Glazer, and he convinced him not to train to failure. And so Mike has been criticizing Mr. Olympia champions, for example, Dorian Yates and Ronnie Coleman, saying, you know, well, if they would train like me, they would have been bigger. You know, it's just not the right way to train. You know, Ronnie Coleman training too heavy, he shouldn't be doing this, shouldn't be doing that. And it just doesn't sit right when you're listening to a guy who doesn't have a pro card, who had over 200 mistakes in his thesis, and convinces the world that you just shouldn't train hard and that you need to have a deload and train 3RIR, and made a bunch of acronyms and said this is science. And so if you don't listen to science, it's because you're an idiot.
Who am I compared to Mike Menser? Well, I'm bigger and stronger than Mike Menser. I'm more educated than Mike Menser. I know more things than Mike Menser. That's it. That's it.
That's it. It's all, folks.
Mike's whole career in about 30.
What's up, Rock? That's it. Isn't that Bugs Bunny, the woodpecker? That's it, folks. That's all, folks. Allah. Did you guys see Coach Greg on Beavis and Butthead? They probably missed out. Beavis and Butthead, Coach Greg with the baby naked with the jock strap and cooking recipes with the long hair. Those were iconic moments in the history of television. It's 200 calories, you freaking moron!
Dorian Yates won Mr. Olympia 6 times. He did it in the 90s using Mike Menser's high-intensity training methods. The same methods Dr. Mike spent 7 minutes calling outdated, psychotic, and backwards.
I heard about Mike Menser 20 years ago. And by the time I heard about him, everything he ever thought and said had already been written and said. I could have fully appraised the breadth of his analysis because he was like relevant in the 80s.
Yet here we are talking about him right now. And so clearly he's relevant. He's more relevant than Mike Israetel. And so what is he going on about? Many people have gone and videos about Mike Menser, talked about the way he's been training. And so what you need to understand is this. Guys who actually have the practical experience in the gym, guys who are in the trenches doing the work, know more than guys who just go by science. Science is bullshit. I've already made multiple videos calling this out. You think your little 8-week study with soccer moms measuring how much muscle you put on by going in a DEXA scan or an in-body scan is going to do anything? Of course not.
We already know what Mike Menser did that worked well, and we already know what he did that didn't work well.
We don't even know anything right now. I mean, Jeff Nipper just spent 5 years saying you needed to do more reps than last time, more volume and so on, and recently just experimented on himself, sample size 1, and wrote a new program to the world. You now have to train hard, harder than last time. Coach Greg was right all along. He flip-flopped on the science, but no, I didn't actually flip-flop. It only applies if you're in a calorie deficit. And so by this program, it's gonna have you doing fewer sets if you're in a calorie deficit. The rest, it still holds true. More sets than freaking last time. Remember that training program you did with Stephanie Buttermore? 54 sets per body part per week? It's a little much. Oh, but a study said 43 is better. And a study previously said you need, not may need to do more volume. You don't need to do more. You could literally do less. I was literally on a podcast with Gavin Tucker, a UFC fighter and so on. He asked me the question, said, how do you look the way you do at 50? I said, by training less volume, so I can recover more, and I go harder than last time, and it works.
1, he had a cool mustache. Legitimately, I think people are just into that 80s look. 2, it's like tough guy thing of going to failure.
I mean, he tries to be funny, tries to tell jokes, and no, they don't listen to Mike Menser because of his mustache. That is not the case whatsoever. I mean, are you listening to me more right now? I put on a mustache. Oh, Coach Greg, he knows what he's talking about. What if I put on a wig? I mean, do you believe me more now? I mean, you perhaps are thinking, how does bro have a mustache and a wig in his YouTuber scoring studio? To that I respond, I just do. You never know what Coach Greg has in store. I'm kind of like Mr. Dress Up. Y'all remember Mr. Dress Up with Casey and Finnegan? Of course you don't, because you're all too young. Mr. Dress Up, he had the tickle box. I don't know what was in there, things like this, and we had a good time. I got in my tickle box the Blue Lobster, and I've got Turk Builder Max and Turk Platinum. And so if you're trying to put on more muscle than last time without the use of performance-enhancing drugs, code Greg, 15% off. And if you don't buy it, well, go and get Sweet and Blow and go give your boyfriend a good time. Thank me later.
And the number one reason Mike Menser is someone that's regarded, I would say, more highly than necessary at this current juncture is because he's trending on fucking TikTok with these TikToker fucks.
And what you just said about Mike Menser on TikTok, I could quite easily say about Mike Israetel on YouTube. Let's repeat what he just said.
Just because you trended doesn't mean you said some right shit.
Just because you trended doesn't mean you said some right shit. Just because Mike Israetel has close to 4 million followers and said you need to keep multiple reps in the tank, at least 1 to 3, perhaps 2 of the average is ideal, it doesn't mean that it's true. Just because Mike Israetel said that you should diet on cereal and Gatorade, it doesn't mean that it's true. Just because Mike said he lost because of an improper tan, it doesn't mean that it's true. Nor the fact that he said that he had 20 pounds of body water from bulking up in his 20s. None of that stuff has to mean anything just because he said it is true. I mean, must we list on the things that Mike has said that don't need to be true? That his IQ is at least 160? Why should we believe that? Because Mike said that it's true? And just because Mike said that given a year, he can become an expert in whatever field you do best, just give him 1 year. Is that true? And what about when Mike said that, drinking alcohol, it's beneficial, that it's net positive, that it does a lot of good things, antioxidants and so on. No, it's a class 1 carcinogen. It's not good for you. We've seen the scientific snitch repeatedly try to go after Mike on these statements. And so just because Mike says it's true, just because he's trended on YouTube, doesn't mean he knows what he's saying. I mean, remember why he wanted to get a pro card so bad? Omar Yusuf interviewed Mike, said, why do you want a pro card so bad? He said something along the lines of, I want to prove to the world that my methods work better than others by getting the pro card. He didn't get the pro card, not even close. And so why should we believe Mike Israetel over guys like Mike Mentzer, a Mr. Olympia competitor, professional bodybuilder, or 6-time champion Dorian Yates?
And it was like Mike Mentzer's advice on diet. What? Motherfucker was around in 1982. I don't give a fuck what someone from 1982 said about diet. I'm sorry.
He didn't actually go there. I forgot he had said this. He's criticizing Mike Mentzer's opinions on diet because it was from the 1980s. When Mike Israetel diets on cereal and Gatorade, I shit you not. And you know what else he takes? Either retatrutide or terzipatide. Now, if you're interested in getting terzipatide or Ozempic, for example, GLP-1s, or if you're interested in clomiphene, the list goes on and on. Click the link in the description and go check out AlgoRx. I'm a part owner, and the reason is they have amazing prices, cheaper than last time. If you compare them to Merrick Health, you're going to see significantly reduced prices, about 50%, and these are pharmaceutical medications. They write you a prescription. They don't gatekeep, and so their private doctors are going to prescribe you the medications that you need, 100% legal. And so if you're interested, click the link, enter code Greg, 10% off. They also sell things like Cialis, Viagra, the list goes on and on. And if you want to just go the natural route, you can get Harder Than Last Time from Coach Greg. You can get GLP Max. You can get test boosters. The list goes on and on. Please check out Coach Greg's link. Click the link in the description, code Greg, 15% off. Back to the video.
And Mike Mentzer was impressive for his time, but he wasn't impressive in an absolute sense.
Mike Mentzer was impressive for his time. I mean, Mike Israetel, it's now how many years later? 30 years later, 40 years later? Mike Israetel has access to all the best drugs in the world, the terzipatides, the retatrutides, whatever. But yet Mike Mentzer got in better shape than Mike Israetel, even with Mike's PhD. I mean, what's that worth? Mike's 160 plus IQ. What good was it because he couldn't get himself in shape? And remember, Mike has stated he's smarter than almost every coach, perhaps every coach, almost everybody.
Every coach, maybe every coach.
Maybe almost everybody.
Almost every coach, maybe every coach.
Is he though?
Enrique!
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him that he's not smarter than my Blue Lobster. My Blue Lobster. Blue Lobster. He's saying yes. Do you think you should eat cereal and Gatorade to lose weight? No. Already smarter than Mike.
Enrique!
Oopsie!
I'm bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer. That's it.
That's it. That's it. I'm bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer. Who am I compared to Mike Mentzer? That's it. I'm bigger and stronger than him. You eat cereal and Gatorade, and you blame not winning on your 10 and 20 pounds of body water from carving up, from being fat when you're in your 20s. The outdated. Why? Because you sell more programs by saying you need to have 2 or 3 RIRs and minimum and maximum recoverable volumes and deloads and upload and download. Well, perhaps you need to let one load out all over your stomach.
I'm bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer. That's it.
This helps you in the bedroom. Did you guys know that? It does. If it doesn't, money back guarantee, $20 gift card. If it doesn't do every single thing that I said and even surpass your expectations, money back guarantee and a $20 gift card. And don't forget, code Greg, 15% off.
And work is going to make you more horny.
For sure it does. And if you don't believe me, buy it. If it doesn't work, money back guarantee, $20 gift card.
For
Boom.
sure impacts your sex drive.
Print that. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Greg.
When people say I'm bigger than someone, they're not meaning fatter. Like, if you're a 300-pound sumo wrestler, you're not going to say, oh, I'm bigger than Mike Menser. This is not the context of the explanation. We're talking about bodybuilding, and Mike Israetel was saying, I'm bigger than Mike Menser. And so the Twin Towers, they've come crumbling down yet again. They're down for the count. I mean, if there was any chance of him getting up, I believe this is the knockout blow. And if you're looking for a sweeter blow than last time, I highly recommend Sweetened Blow. It says specially formulated for him. And so Jeff Nippa, Mr. Mike, highly recommend it. Can use that on each other. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm, like the video if you liked it, watch one of those 2 bloops. And for the cookbooks and for training books and for training with me, click the link in the description, enter codes, get discounts, do all the things, find out what you want, and come back for more, because bros and gals, we're just getting started.